Weber's Burgers. Just hearing the name alone makes you instantly think of Ontario summers, cottage road trips, and knowing you're in for a very tasty burger. It's rare that a restaurant becomes so tied to its geographical location that it's used as a landmark during traffic reports. But in South Central Ontario, it's common to hear the radio announcer say, "The traffic clears up on the highway after Weber's." So today, let's learn the story of Weber's, how its over 60-year-old history played out, all the ups and downs along the way, and how a risky $250,000 investment changed everything. Weber's first opened up its doors July 11th, 1963, by a man named Paul Weber, strategically located along a major artery of cottage-bound traffic, Highway 11. The restaurant quickly became popular with vacationers heading up to their cottage looking for a quick meal on the way. Before long, it just became the spot to stop on the way to the cottage, and even, although dangerously, on the way back too. By the mid-1970s, people were parking their cars on the southbound side of the highway and literally risking their lives crossing Highway 11 just to get another Weber's burger. It became such a safety concern that in 1981, the Ministry of Transportation installed a chain-link fence across the highway to stop people from crossing. Overnight, Weber's lost half their customers, and they needed a solution, and fast. And in 1983, Paul Weber Jr., the fortunate son of Paul Sr., had an idea. A bridge. And not just any bridge. It was once part of the CN Tower's infamous skywalk. The price? A cool $250,000. A massive risk, but one Paul Jr. was willing to take.
Back in the early 1980s, Weber's was faced with a challenge like many other companies were. The highway was divided. And Weber's, I think, had a choice to make, either to continue serving half of the business that it had earned or built up, but with good fortune, the business was able to acquire the bridge, or also known as the Weber's Bridge, across Highway 11, and that has helped tremendously. It put us in a different space than our competitors were. And in that sense, the business has really grown a great deal since.
The gamble paid off instantly, essentially doubling customers overnight. To this day, it remains the only privately owned bridge across a public highway in all of Canada, and it exists solely for a burger restaurant. And that wasn't the only piece of Canadiana that Paul Jr. added to Weber's. In 1987, he purchased several decommissioned CN rail cars, not just for aesthetics, but for practical use. They were converted into a meat processing facility, dining areas, storage, and more. This gave Weber's complete control over burger production. In the 1990s, Weber's began expanding, first to Barrie, then to Orillia, and even 2 locations in Toronto Pearson Airport. However, all these locations have since closed, leaving only the original location on Highway 11 remaining. And honestly, Weber's is just so tied to that spot, seeing it anywhere else just didn't feel right. In 2004, Paul Weber Jr. took a step back and sold the business to a man by the name of Tom Rene. Paul later said that he sold the business to spend more time with his family. In 2005, Weber's Burgers became available in frozen food aisles across Ontario grocery stores. Throughout the 2000s, Weber's continued to grow, naturally by word of mouth. And along the way, it attracted its fair share of famous fans. Celebrities like Shania Twain, Goldie Hawn, Kurt Russell, and even Justin Trudeau have made a stop there. Today, Weber's remains an iconic stop along Highway 11 in Ontario. At its peak, it can serve over 8,000 burgers a day, which is over 800 an hour, which is actually insane. It goes to show what over 60 years of experience, taking smart risks, having excellent product, and, most importantly, what the right location can do. Weber's became iconic because it was a special treat for cottage goers. Its humble beginnings gave it charm. People made it a tradition, and that tradition carried on to younger generations. And I think that'll keep going for many generations to come. Weber's was never just about burgers. It was about timing, catching people right at the start of summer, right before the lake, right after a long drive. It was about taking risks when it mattered, staying true to one location, and let tradition do the marketing. So next time you're heading up to the cottage and the traffic clears up after Weber's, you'll know why. And if you've been to Weber's before, drop your favorite memories in the comments. Thanks.